I would like to also state that this is a private building that was, and the art was funded by private dollars, so it is on private property, and the installation was approved by the Historic District Commission, just so everyone is aware of the context.
Terrence Bailey, the issues that we as a family have with the mural. I was waken out of my bed by one of our elders, actually, the vice chair of our nonprofit, and his words was, "Why is Uncle Frederick on that wall looking like a thug?" So I had to go look and see what he was talking about. I had somebody say that it's something that that the young people can aspire to, and I respond to that. These are the same young boys that we're trying to get to pull their pants up, let alone be squatting in that fashion with a big old watch and this and the other. They say, well, it's trying to relate with the hip hop culture. Like, do you listen to hip hop? Have you listened to it recently? You think Frederick Douglass was a part of the suffrage movement for women? Would he be out here listening to music and bobbing his head to them calling females derogatory names? I don't think so. Not at all. That is that picture does not look like the ambassador to Haiti. Does not look like the recorder of deeds. Does not look like a U.S. Marshal. Does not look like the man who sat with Abraham Lincoln and convinced him to let blacks fight for their own freedom with the 54th Massachusetts. That doesn't represent that. And the thing about it, the thing that really makes us upset, is that even though Frederick Douglass is in the public domain, in Talbot County, he's a family name. Talbot County is not like everywhere else. He has hundreds of family members here. So when you do stuff like that, not you, but when stuff like that is done, just because you can. Oh, he's in the public domain. He belongs to everybody. Well, he does, but these things have to be done with tact, taste, and respect. He has family here. And my elders don't want to see that. Don't want to see that crap. And I don't either. And I wouldn't, if I had a son young enough, I would not want my son seeing that, trying to aspire to that. Let me ask you a question. If they put a woman up there with Frederick Douglass in that portrait, and she had to dress to match him, how would she be dressed? Who would the woman be? See, stuff like this, you have to nip it in the bud, and because it's a larger discussion. Because if they take license with Frederick Douglass like this, then next who would be Harriet Tubman and some Daisy Dukes on a mural? No, I'm serious. You know the old saying, you give an inch, you take a mile, give them a rope, you think they're a cowboy? Stuff like this has to be stopped before it gets going. And so that's all I got to say. There's no, and then to profit off of it, to sell shirts and stuff like that. Oh, it's for X. Well, as a family, we don't care what it's for. It needs to come down because it shouldn't. Whoever the guy is, wherever he's from, maybe that's okay where he lives, but it's not appropriate here, not in Talbot County. Thank you.
My name is Andrea Primus. I live at 45 South Washington Street. Since I've lived in Easton, I have worked at Rise Up my whole time. I participate in the Chamber Music Festival, and I am attending Washington College, where I'll be graduating this December. For a year and a half now, I've been researching Frederick Douglass. I received a $3,000 grant from Washington College to travel Northeast America and follow Frederick Douglass from his birth till he escaped till freedom. I recently finished my thesis project on Frederick Douglass, and it's very emotional to me that all this controversy has come up over somebody that I look up to so highly. I came here today to share my thesis paper with the family. A lot of people have helped me throughout my project, and I have been very vocal that I've been working on this for a year and a half, and some people have reached out to me, and I look forward to sharing my thesis, but I do feel uncomfortable now to share it. The ending of my paper does a close reading on the new mural to say that I believe his posture is him coming to our level. I believe that his watch is a play on temporality and the benefits of Afrofuturism and retro Afrofuturism. And I believe his sneakers, Converse, are 100% American sneakers. They were the first athletic shoe, the first basketball shoe, and once upon a time, the shoe of the Olympics. I encourage everyone to want to read my thesis. I encourage everyone to be understanding, to be loving, and understand. More than anything, I do want to respect the family, but I'm not sure what to do with all of my work at this point. And I just wanted to share that I've now given my thesis, and if anybody else would like to read it, I would be more than happy. So thank you for letting me share.
My name is John Mann. I live on South Harrison Street. I wrote a letter, I emailed a letter, and I hope that the council had a chance to take a look at it. Basically, I want to make sure that everyone understands that the process that the Historical Commission went through was to approve not the artwork. They approved the application of the frame, where it was going to be, and it's a very short list of 5 items in the guidelines. None of them have to deal with content. Once you start dealing with content, once you start dealing with expression of art, you start dealing in in issues having to do with the First Amendment. It's on private property. It was funded by private property. It will be maintained. Their taxpayers are not involved in it whatsoever. So I understand that people would like to say the council should take it down, but I would respectfully submit that the council has no jurisdiction to take it down. And if they want to appeal the process of putting it on the building, it certainly looks to me like they went through a lot of effort to make sure that it wasn't painted on the building, it wasn't adhered to the building, with the fastenings they used to put it on the building were appropriate, and it was unanimously approved by the Historical Commission. So I would just have to ask you to take that into consideration, that when you start talking about what we cannot put on, what private citizens can put on their property, you start treading on very dangerous territory.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Chester. I have sinusitis, so excuse my voice. I am one of the original members of Fred's Army, and we studied Frederick Douglass. I'm a retired school teacher, and to me, it was degrading a good man. And some of you don't walk in the shoes that we walk in, and you don't look like me. When we talk about all these boards, if I took an inventory of how many people sat on those boards that look like me, Frederick Douglass looks like a thug. My youngest is a boy who's 30. He went by that building and he said, "Mom, all that stuff I learned at Be a Star about Frederick Douglass, it looks like we're telling him, oh, you should go out and buy a big watch, wear some tennis shoes, and kneel down like that like you're in jail." Again, you don't look like me. You don't know what we feel, because that was a man for everybody, but it started out being a man for African Americans. Too many things are done, let's call it like it is. So many things are done to us as a people and have been done. We can't change history, and we're not trying to. But to face a man like that is disheartening. It hurts me as being a teacher. I got a call in the middle of the day in the rain, and I came to look at it. And when I hear people that look like me that think that's okay, you can't bring Frederick Douglass to what it is today. So what is it telling us? That black boys should get a big watch and some Converses? Yeah, my first job at 12 years old, I bought me some Chuck Taylors, because that meant I didn't have to wear a $5 pair of tennis shoes. Those might have been $15. But this was a great man. And again, you all sit around and people make decisions for people that look like us, and you don't know how it feels. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Pamela Gates, and I live in Eastern Maryland. I am one of the people that I oppose the type of the picture in the place it is. The artwork is fabulous. The artist is very good. However, I feel as though that it's misplaced. And I went to a luncheon and I heard a statesman speak on Saturday, and a couple of statements I just want to repeat. One of the things he said, we should not let anyone else tell our story. We should tell our own story in the manner in which it happened. not what someone else thinks it should have happened. Rosa Parks said, we should not give up our dignity. And I believe that that picture is giving up our dignity, Frederick Douglass's dignity as a statesman. He always stood tall, and he was firm in his beliefs. The thing with the students, they wanted to tell the students, they could relate to it because it's in the time, it's in the era of their time. However, we want them to understand that you are to stand up for your beliefs, stand tall in what you believe. Do not stoop, always stand. I want our children to be taught honesty and truth. I'm a retired teacher, and I think that that's important. A lot of people here, I mean, this is 2023. You have no idea what went on in the 1950s and the early 60s in which I grew up. During that time, and my parents were educators. My father grew up at 104 Porch Street, which was a different house at that time, but that was during the 50s, and probably before that, when I came along, it was during the 50s, so I know they lived there. So the people like me, with my parents and the elders, we witnessed the struggle, and we saw the accomplishments. And I think that this particular picture, in the context which it is presented in Easton, is not encouraging, or is not something that we want our children to see. If that picture was in somewhere else with all his other artwork, it's a graffiti, sketch, and a caricature. I get that. But do you want a graffiti sketch and a character on your building of someone's famous and a statesman? Because really, someone said, we are not judged by the content of our character. And that character there, I don't want Frederick Douglass judged by that content. Thank you.